And that's better. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing we're going to talk about, well, really, let me preface this this particular stream. On this one, we're going to be talking about some of the most popular tools, exchanges, services, the types of places that you're probably going to visit as you continue on in your DeFi or Web3 adventure. And so a lot of these are related to financial services. We will talk a little bit about NFTs. We'll talk a little bit about some utility applications. And at the end, if there are any questions, you can go ahead and just reach out to me. Just drop a message in the chat. All right. So the first one, and probably the most important, if you are interested or you are already an active cryptocurrency trader, and if you have spent any time on Ethereum buying coins, you've probably heard of Uniswap. For those who haven't, Uniswap is the largest decentralized exchange in crypto. It's primarily on Ethereum, but it is on some other chains as well. Think of this as a competitor to Coinbase or Binance or FTX. This is a place that you can come and you can trade one cryptocurrency for another. Now, because this is a decentralized exchange and there are a lot of regulations globally, there are a lot of regulations that restrict or prevent a lot of fiat on-ramps, meaning services that let you move your cash into the web. There's a lot of restrictions on those in the crypto space. And so to avoid getting in trouble with regulators, most of these services will not provide you the ability to say plug your credit card in and just buy tokens off of it. So we discussed this in the last episode, but you'll probably want to do the fiat on-ramp part. You're going to want to do that on a centralized exchange or in MetaMask wallet that we talked about last episode. That does let you do that. And then transfer, your starting capital over to your Web3 wallet. If you have questions about what a Web3 wallet is or what MetaMask is, Ledger or any of those others, please reference the first episode. But effectively, it's a digital wallet that enables you to interact with and transfer funds between different decentralized protocols in the Web3 space. And for those who are wondering, when I say Web3, if this is a new term for you, Web3 is what a lot of folks consider the next generation of the internet. Web 2 being the current internet. Web 3 being a little bit more of a holistic, modern approach to the web, where your identity, your financial services, everything is decentralized and kind of masked behind that wallet. And then that wallet is how you would interact with things like, say, banks or social media. So Uniswap. What we're not going to do today is actually do any transactions, but we will enter these apps and just take a quick look. So Uniswap, in this case, it's going to default to Ethereum here in this top menu. But basically the way it works is you would pick the token or currency you want to sell and what you want to buy with it. Now, the list of purchasable tokens is governed by Uniswap's default list and then Gemini's token list, Gemini being a pretty old centralized exchange. You can add others to this list, like CoinGecko tracks 4,809 other tokens. And what it does is if you turn that on, it then pulls from that CoinGecko database, and all of the tokens contracts are imported into here. So now you could search against them and buy them. Keep in mind that there are a lot of bad, junky, worthless tokens on there. There are also a lot of fake projects out there. So you might try to say you wanted to buy some Shiba Inu. There may be some fake Shiba projects out there that look very similar. And when you go to buy, you might get fooled. So you want to be careful leaving the defaults here. I recommend you leave it as is and only trade the ones listed here. If you want to be a little bit more adventurous, make sure you do your own research. Go to visit CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap and just look it up. For example, if I go to coinmarketcap.com and let's say I want to find a funny, some kind of meme coin. I mean, Shiba was a good example. If I want to be sure I get the right, and you can see here, look, I put Shiba in. I mean, there's so many BitShiba, Shiba Lana, Shiba Phantom. There's the real Shib, I believe, and 100 more results. So don't be fooled. There's a lot going on. Now, this one I believe is right because it's ranked number 16. We know that the real Shiba is a fairly high-ranked altcoin. Okay. And you can see here, just by looking down, it has it has, see if it has active comments. You can verify the website up here and the contract information if you really want to be savvy. This is the contract for SHIB. Now, if you're not familiar with what a DeFi blockchain type contract looks like, you're probably not going to get much out of this. I am not an engineer myself, but it doesn't hurt to learn a little bit about this. Being able to read these contracts is actually pretty beneficial to an investor, especially if you're chasing a lot of random, say, low market cap DeFi tokens out there. All right, so back to Uniswap. All right. And if you wanted to connect to it, you would just hit connect wallet. I don't have a wallet on this one. And then you'd be able to do the transactions. Keep in mind every transaction on any chain, but especially on Ethereum, costs gas. I believe today I've been paying upwards of even $15 to $20 for a transaction. That's a lot. The gas varies throughout the day. And in fact, there are trackers for it. So Ethereum gas tracker. Now be careful because some of these also lead to scam sites. You got to be very careful. Ethereum gas charts, ethereumprice.org. This is one I've used before. I've never had an issue. But you can see they measured in Gwei, which is an underlying currency of Ethereum. And then you can see this heat chart here. Now this is, I believe, based on my time. And you can see the worst time of the day is Wednesday's middle of the day. So that would have been yesterday. It gets, it looks like Saturdays and Sundays are usually pretty good. Gas is going to be lower. So if you're one of those people that is really trying to maximize their money, I recommend you try ethereumprice.org, or as this says down here, this heat chart, you can also go to gasnow.org. Did I type that right? Ah, clever. Redirects to bitcoin.org. We do not need Bitcoin information for now. So, all right. The next thing we're going to talk about is bridges. So let's say that you have some, you've gotten comfortable with DeFi. You have some stuff on Solana, or Tezos or Algo or, just some other chain, and you want to move it to Ethereum or to anywhere else. Multichain.org is one of the ones I personally use. There are other options out there, and some chains require a specialized bridge. In those cases, enter the communities for those particular projects, it's always best to go to, say, their Twitter or their Discord and contact them directly, or look on their website and find out which bridges they recommend. But if you want to check multi-chain, you can go into the app, and when you look at multi-chain, you'll be able to tell which chains they support. You come over here on the right, and you can see a pretty long list. And some of these, I don't even know what they are, just to be completely honest. But yeah, you have a lot to pick from. Everything from XRP, Ripple, to Litecoin, to, I don't even know, some of these are test nets. Kronos, Ethereum. And so basically the way it works is you would connect with your wallet, because as Ethereum, I would connect my Ethereum wallet. And let's say I want to transfer USDC, which is a US dollar stable coin, and I want to transfer that to BNB, to the Binance Smart Chain. I would put the amount up here, and then it would tell me down here how much I get. Now, in this case, they charge a fee. There's always, each transaction has its own unique fee depending on where you're going from and to. In this case, if I was going from ETH to BNB, transferring USDC, the minimum fee is going to be $0.50, so 50 cents. The maximum is going to be 1,000, and that's based on 0.01%. So obviously, unless you're transferring millions, you don't have to worry about that big fee. You'll probably pay very little. The way this works is that basically on each end of this, multi-chain has a pool of funds. So they have USDC on the Ethereum side. They have USDC on the BNB side. And so what you're doing is you're basically, let's say $500 in USDC. You're going to give the Ethereum pool your $500, and then multi-chain says, hey, this dude just gave me $500 on Ethereum, and he asked for $500 back on the BNB chain. So they'll send a note over to the BNB side of multi-chain, and they'll give you $500. And then all you have to do to pick that up is just check your wallet on BNB. Switch to your BNB wallet, and you should be good to go. Now, this will require you to configure your wallet for each of those chains that you want to move to and from. And for those, you'll have to do a little bit of research. Like, for example, if I want to connect my wallet to BNB, I have MetaMask. So I would, in this case, I would have to go look for it, right? Set up MetaMask for BNB. And you want to try to find trustworthy websites for this. And so in this case, this is an actual Binance website. So I feel good about the data here. Tells you what to do. And then you just go through the steps. You set up your wallet, and you should be good to go. You can just switch between the different chains then. So keep in mind, when you switch, your wallet address actually stays the same. If you see that address up here, that's the same whether you're on Ethereum or you're on BNB or any sort of Ethereum virtual machine compatible chain, which is most of them. Your address will stay the same. Now there are exceptions. For example, Litecoin or Ripple. Or if you're into meme coins, stuff like Bananas, they have their own unique chains that are not EVM that, may have a different style of wallet address. So just be sure that you're aware of that before you do any transfers. Okay. Let's talk for a minute about NFTs. So let's say you are interested in getting into NFTs, you've never tried it yourself. The first place you can go to is OpenC. So OpenC, it is the largest NFT marketplace. And if you're new into NFTs, I recommend starting there because they just have more traders, more liquidity. You're going to have better odds of selling things on OpenC because there's just more buyers visiting the website. There are some alternatives, but we'll start here. We'll just look around. For example, you've probably heard of Bored Apes. So on OpenC, it's pretty simple. I mean, they have this big, crazy, landing page, but you can come up here and just type in what you want to look for. Bored Ape. And it's going to bring up a list of what it thinks I'm looking for. You see Bored Ape Yacht Club, Bored Ape Kennel Club, Bored Ape Chemistry Club. These are all official Bored Ape clubs. And it's always good to look for that blue check mark. That means that OpenC has verified that is the right collection, because scammers try to make fake copies of collections. I mean, some of these, like Bored Apes free drop. Man, don't touch these. If you're not sure, don't touch them, because it might be some sort of scammer with a malicious code. You just never know. So Bored Apes, here they are, out of my price range. But if you have a couple $100,000 sitting around, go ahead and pick one up. You can look at stats, and this is one of the things that people do is they'll look at the ranking to see what's trending. So if you see something small, for example, this Mirandus, it costs less than 0.01 ETH, but the volume on it for the past day is up over 100%. Maybe worth checking out. I'm not saying this, none of this is financial advice, but that's just a tactic that people use to try to kind of catch a NFT before it breaks out. There are a lot of other tools you can use. For example, I forget what. Let me see. Yeah, NFT Stats or Rarity Sniper. These are some that I've used. One of the tricks that you can use with NFTs, and let's use Moonbirds, is you want to get the highest rarity you can get for the lowest price. That's how you maximize your money, right? Because it's not that the whole project has one floor price. For example, Moonbirds, it says 13.5 ETH is the floor. It's that's for the lowest quality Moonbird, like the lowest rarity. It's probably a very plain Moonbird that not a lot of people want at 13.5 ETH. But as you go up in rarity, different traits will have a floor. For example, this rank number 1 obviously is very unique. 0.06% of the entire collection has his background. 0.04% have his feathers. And these are each of their traits that they have, right? And so each of these traits has a rarity. Obviously, he's extremely rare. But the way you could do this is you could rank any list, and you can use a lot of different sites for this, but rank it to do high to low, and then look to see. Oh yeah, and then set it to buy now. And see what you can find. So right here you can see this is, oops, I think it switched off. Yeah, rank. Okay. We want to do, rank low to high. My fault there. For buy now. And then kind of skim through and, we can try to cut this back a little bit. Let's say we only want to do up to 20 ETH. Okay. So rank 295 is the lowest there, and that's for 18. That actually seems like maybe potentially a decent deal, considering that you jump all the way up to rank 600, and it's only half an ETH cheaper. Rank 654 is more. Rank 800 is more. So it feels like this person might be underpricing their NFT a little bit. They probably could charge a little bit more than that. That's my perception, right? I mean, you're seeing cheaper ones at higher ranks, which is what you want to see. But overall, you're seeing mostly at that price or higher still, 19, 20, 18. So anyways, let's move on. Now, an alternative I just want to provide to Uniswap is SushiSwap. Oops, did I type that wrong? SushiSwap. So that's right. SushiSwap is basically a competitor to Uniswap. They do carry some things that Uniswap doesn't have. So if you can't find what you're looking for on Uniswap, come check out SushiSwap. Now, SushiSwap is a little bit more of a gamified version of Uni. They do have some other services. For example, you can lend assets here. We're not going to dive too deep into that today, but basically in DeFi, you can lend your assets and then pull 8% of those back immediately. And while you take those funds back, they can be paid back. So one of the, so I think we're done on, SushiSwap. I would say the most common reason to use them is to trade. You could also enter a liquidity pool. If you don't know what those are, we'll cover those another day. But basically, that's how all of DeFi works, is by creating these pools of tokens that people can trade in and out of. And then you can farm. Farming is basically where you lock up tokens and you get rewarded for it. So, let's see. Now, the last site I'm going to show you is called Alchemics. And Alchemics is a service that does self-repaying loans, which is as cool as it sounds. Self-repaying loans means you show up, you deposit your money, and you get a % of that back while they slowly repay your loan. Now, here's the thing. It takes a few years. And when I say a few years, it could even take a decade. This could take a long time. But they're playing low-risk strategies to pay your loan off. And so for people that have a longer investment horizon, if you say, hey, I got this ETH or whatever it may be, and I don't want to sell it for the next 10 years or next 5 years, whatever it may be, maybe a self-repaying loan's not a bad idea, because that technically increases the amount of money you have, right? There are risks. Obviously, a lot can happen over the years. So, if something happens to Alchemics, you could lose your funds. But, that's true of virtually everything in the DeFi space, right? There's a little bit of an elevated risk. It's a lightly regulated space. It's usually not insured, although you can apply for insurance. So, be aware of the risks when you do things like this, but also know that there's a lot of these interesting and innovative financial services that you can take advantage of that traditional banks just don't offer. Okay. And here's another thing we're going to discuss. When you're looking to research for new tokens, new coins that you may be interested in, I think it's important to check out the community. And so this is more of a tip, but this is, I always recommend Twitter and Reddit for crypto investors. If you're planning to invest in something, check out their community, check out their activity level on both of those. I don't think I need to share the websites for those, but for example, Reddit has our cryptocurrency, which is a massive community. I believe of perhaps 6 million people. Let's see. Okay. 5.2 million. It's a big community, and you can learn a lot from the people there, following the daily discussions, posting on stuff, or following the posts here. And the same for Twitter. If you're thinking, hey, I'm curious about this project, go put it into Twitter and see what they're talking about. And then the final thing I want to talk about for this stream is, let's see what it comes up as, is DeFi insurance. And this is one of those ones that you're going to want to do your own research. So I'm not really here to talk about one specific service. I'm not going to say one is better than the other, but, you can read articles like this on DeFi Rate, and Nexus Mutual is one I've tried before. But basically, if you're worried about having uninsured funds, or maybe you have too much, you just want some extra security. You want some extra peace of mind as you invest into DeFi. Check out decentralized insurance. There are some ways to insure your funds. I can't guarantee that they're going to cover it in the event of a loss, but it's good to be aware of, and it gives you options. So that being said, let's see if we have any questions. And no, it looks like we're good for today. So if anything comes up, you watch this, you still have some questions, drop into our Discord, or hit us up on Twitter. You can find these links on our website or on any of our other social media, including YouTube. And maybe we'll talk to you there. Have a good week, everyone.